I did a little cleaning in my garage because I gotta get ready for the winter. And got a whole 2 buckets right now just from cleaning the front of it. I haven't even gotten inside yet, just cleaned up my buckets and stuff that I've been throwing in there for the last few months. And that's what I got. So we're gonna go through all that today and see what we got. Alright, let's start sorting through. Cut that apart, get the clean number 2 off there. Get this stuff off of here. Make that a clean cord. Throw that in the cord bin. I don't have, oh yeah I do. I'm gonna cut that end off and now go in a clean cord bin. That one's already clean. Cable cutters. And the rescue. I got a plug bucket now somewhere. Throw that in there. There, because I have no clue what I did with the bucket. Okay, and that goes in clean cords. Aluminum. Steel. Steel. This gotta be cleaned up. This gotta be cleaned up. You got your brass, your copper. That clean stuff there is number 1. Stuff with the solder and paint, number 2. So you can cut the bottoms off here, make that number 1, number 1. That's all pretty much number 2. Cut that off there. Throw that and clean that up and put that in the brass bin. Because with that, it's dirty brass. Clean this all out, it's clean. Make more money. Sorry. I'm knocking stuff over. It's my pile down there. Stuff to clean up. Steel. No paint. Maybe a little paint, something there. But that can be sanded off. So sand all that crap off. Number 1. She dirty, but cut these ends off. Number 1. Take that off. That becomes number 2, and that becomes brass. Cut that end off. That's number 2. Take that off. That's brass. We'll go over that in a second. Cut that all up. Steel. Outlet. I believe aluminum. Guess and cast. Same thing here. Cut those ends off. Brass, brass, brass. Clean copper. Clean all this crap off. Clean brass. With this it's dirty. And with all the stuff inside. But I'll see what I can do and see if we can clean that up a little bit later. I might be able to get that off and get some number 1 off that. That's probably going to end up brass. I'm going to clean it all up though. Again, number 1 and brass. Lead. Goes right in the lead top. Wire goes with the Romex. Let's clean number 2. Because it ain't going to be Bear Bright no more. They might have a number 1. It depends on the place. But that's clean, so I'm just going to throw it with the other Romex because I'm not dealing with it right now. This gets cleaned up, number 2, insulated, and then we're missing clean number 1. Or clean Romex at least. Depending on where they buy, it might be number 2. I'm going through the wrong bin. Steel. These usually are aluminum. Aluminum. Now, this is an old faucet, so I'd have to guess it's going to be brass. She's a big old thickened piece of brass. Clean this bad boy up. Worth the money. Aluminum, and that'd be brass, and she clean. Where's my clean brass bucket's being clogged up. All right, let's stick this over here because I can't get to it right now. And this is probably gonna be dirty aluminum because it has screws. Maybe not. I'll still pop them out so they don't say anything. More clean brass. Well, get that sticker off there. Where did I plate it? Aluminum. Brass. Dirty brass. Probably take that off and get aluminum out of it. Alright. Got brass. Yeah, number 2. I'm gonna clean this up. This I'm guessing is aluminum. Yeah. Steel. Light iron, scrap, shred, whatever you want to call it. Number 2. Ooh, I didn't see that. Dirty, dirty. Blind old man, you had it in your hand. That would make it dirty. We gotta cut that off. Clean that up, it's clean brass. Steel. Bunch of brass. Dirty brass. We can clean up. Number 2, because it's got the solder on it. Brass. Steel. Shred, whatever you call it. Shred. Bunch of shreds. Because it's covered with whatever the heck that is. Number 2. Just drop that, but that's all clean brass. Clean brass. If there's washers out there, that's all clean brass. Oops. They're not going to down you for the copper being on the brass because it's worth more money. But if you got brass on your copper, they will ding you. Aluminum. The copper. Right in the bucket. That's a shred. brass bucket's full anyway. Plumbing bolts. Brass. I guess I gotta get to this. Pop that rubber out there. Clean. Okay, let's clean up some of this stuff. This, you want to cut that ring off and pull that plastic off. And then if the other piece is brass, cut it off too. For now, I'm just gonna it's brass in there. So that can go in the brass. Clean number 2. Same thing here. Gonna just trim it up. Cable cutters. That, I don't know, that's pretty beat up, but it should be clean. Really nothing on it. Just funky old copper. Maybe at the end, might be a little solder. That brass got to come off of there. That looks like red brass. You don't see that much. That's old. Old pipe was eaten up from the inside out. We'll see if they give us number 1 for it, but it should be, because that's just all corrosion. Now just keep going through everything like that and clean it all up. And that'll be that. And pull that end off of there. Make that number 2 in brass. Alright. Let's see here. Let's see what that is. Being was from that old faucet, I'm guessing brass. Hard to see on camera, but it's brass. And brass. Nice and easy. Number 2. Number 2. And brass right in the bucket. No, it's green gold. Number 1. Piece of number 1. Number brass. Pull that down so I don't lose all that nice number. Gonna be number 1. Brass pile. No, that's gonna come off. Cut that off, and that's number 1. So it'll cut right behind that piece of whatever glue or whatever it is. Number 2, number 1. Set that down there because it's hard to get my number 1 bin right now. It's a bunch of piped out. Number 1. Which is brassy. Number 2. Number 1 brass. Number 1 brass and number 2. That can be made into number 1. Way too much paint on that. Scrapyard ain't gonna tell you this stuff. Some places will. Clean up, you got yourself some number 1. It's not a lot of money, but if it's only a little bit of stuff, it's worth it. Especially if you got a lot of it. Green is gold. Paint and other foreign objects are not. Paint and foreign objects equal number 2. Another piece. I'll clean this up real quick, throw it in 1. It's all bent, but it's all bent up, but it's still number 1. I cleaned it up. Got all the junk off of it. Oh, a little bit more. She's clean, no paint, no nothing. That goes in number 1 bin. That's how you make the money. See, green, we ain't got to worry about it. It's just a little corrosion. Ain't no biggie. I'll cut that end off into the brass pile, and that's going to be clean number 1. All day today. Number 2. Now you messing with that. This looks pretty good except for a few spots. I'm going to clean it off and throw it in the number 1. Clean. Yeah, baby. Make that money. Go right in that number 1 bin. Same thing with that. As bad as it looks, that's clean number 1. You get that end off. Right in the brass, right in the number 1. Now this jangled up mess, same thing here. This I'm going to have to pull apart. But yeah, cut them supplies off there, make some copper out of them. Clean number 1. Get as tight as you can to that brass. Ain't gonna pay you more for that copper when it's touched to that brass. They're gonna pay you less. Alright. I can cut that end off there, that's number 1. The rest is number 2. Same thing with that piece. A little number 2 and number 1. Gotta make that extra money. number 2. That's the dirty, clean. The bucket under that number 2 is filled with clean brass. And that's all number 1. That container gonna be filled. Number 1. That's what I want. That's what I want. I don't know if they'll ding you or not for that, but they probably will. So. That's how you do that. It's brass, aluminum, steel. See if we can get the same part. Some old tools I found in the trash. Let's do this. We're gonna do it as cheap as possible here, people. If we can. I might have to go get the real tools. Oh, no, it's coming out. So pull that off there. Get that steel out of there. Dirty aluminum. Them little pieces there are brass. Yes, I could get a nut driver. I'm being lazy. It happens. Little jets right there. It's all clean brass. Ooh, clean brass. Dirty aluminum. Go right in the dirty aluminum pile. Alright. Looking good. Get through this pile. A little bit of number 2 on there. I'm just gonna go through this whole thing and do that. We'll go through the other bucket another day. Anything that's real dirty, we'll save to take apart, like the valves and stuff. Just cut the copper off everything. Go through these buckets real quick. Number 2. Number 1. I mean, if you got no but time, it's worth cleaning this stuff up, definitely. And I do this when I'm slow on work. Number 2. Number 1. Little green, don't hurt none. Sticker's gotta go. Get right up to that solder. Sticker. Sticker makes it number 2. Clean. Number 2. Number 2. Clean. Clean. Let's see what else we got in here. Clean wire. Some aluminum that's got to be cleaned up and some copper wire. Brass. Dirty brass. Dirty brass. Aluminum. Side. 2. If we can get that out, clean brass. Alright, got all the plastic out there. Sweet. Took me a minute to pick all that out of there and break it with a hammer and chisel. Or screwdriver in this case. It's all clean brass now, though. It's a couple bucks. In a bucket. Better than giving it to the scrapyard at a very low price. two. Take that stem out of there. This is clean number one. Number one, clean brass, I'm sorry. Dirty brass. Clean. Big difference in price. Very much worth taking out apart. Number one and number two. Very much worth cutting apart. Let's do this, people. Make money. That is clean number one. Clean cord. $1.18 a pound, I think, right now. Number two, copper, insulated. Oh, so that's number two, number one. A little bit number two in here. Cut that end off. That's clean number one. Green will make you green. Take that off there. Clean brass. Number one, number two. Let's see what we can do. Give me a sec. There we go. Dirty brass. Clean this up. Clean brass. It's got a little rubber plug in it. Number one, number two. Cha-ching. Cha-ching. We'll save that for another time, but I'll pull these out. They'll go into number two. We'll clean this up, make that brass. Clean brass. I ain't even messing up. Number two. Number one. Number two. Dirty brass. That's brass. I think that's aluminum. So we gotta check that. Number two. Number two. Aluminum. Aluminum. There's a clean giant chunk of brass there. No, it's not. It might be stainless. That's stainless. Get that washer out of there. That's brass. It's clean. Clean brass is always good brass. Remember to clean your brass today. Everybody clean your brass. Cut that end off. That's number one. Cut that end off. That's number one. Because of the solder. Number one, number two, because of the solder. Little cleanup. Always definitely worth cleaning up, I'm sure. Everybody heard me say that today. But probably aluminum. Who knows? Brass. This can be made into clean brass. A piece of aluminum. Steel bolts for the shred. Dirty brass. Dirty brass. Shred. Aluminum. Clean that up. Ooh. Sorry. Get that sticker off there. That's number one. I haven't even used. Heck, I can't even use that. No foreign objects on it. Number one. Spin that apart. Rubber washer off of there. The rubber O-ring off there. Clean brass. Old American Standard. That's what we do. Make that money. Steel bin. Trash. Right in number one. Right in the brass. Get a few buckets of this stuff going and make yourself some money. Always check on. Should be brass, but you never know. Brass. Like the monsters out there, we got clean. Excuse me. Clean, clean, clean. The rest of that goes in the shred. Fresh bucket. Alright, we got that cleaned up. Next time we're going to clean up all that crap down there and go through them valves and stuff. We got motor down there, motors and valves, all kinds of stuff. We'll go through that and clean it up. See you on the next one. Thank you. Be good. Keep scrapping, and please like and subscribe.